Hello, Peter.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Undisputed Studios podcast. It is your boy, Isaiah Washington, and what a fucking week we just had. Oh my God, 2 trailers to talk about, a special bonus episode of the podcast. We'll be talking What If, probably both episodes 2 and 3, because we didn't review episode 2 last week. We'll do 2 and 3 either late tonight. I'm posting this on Wednesday morning. Either late tonight or tomorrow on Thursday. We'll be talking about What If. But right now, we got 2 things to talk about. Spider-Man No Way Home trailer dropped just a couple days ago. And then last week, the new and final Eternals trailer dropped. First off, we got to do the biggest thing first. All right, we're going to get right into it. Okay? No Way Home. All right, I got some theories. I got some thoughts. You understand? We'll go through the trailer. Okay? So, let's begin, because I'm fucking excited. All right. I just watched it again. I'm hyped up. All right. Okay. So first thing, we now have confirmation. You know, I wanted it to happen. Now we're getting a little bit of confirmation that the Mysterio plot line of how, you know, Spider-Man, at least public consensus and belief is that Spider-Man killed Mysterio. They're not just going to give up on that real quick. And they're also not going to give up on Peter's identity just like being fixed instantly. Because I was afraid they were going to do that just like they did with Aunt May finding out Peter is Spider-Man. Remember at the end of, it was Far From Home, right? No, not Far From Home. No, that's the one where she's super okay with it. But like at the end of Homecoming, the whole movie is like, oh my God, if Aunt May finds out, it's going to be the craziest fucking thing in the world. It's going to be crazy. And then at the end, she finds out. And then next time we see him in Infinity War, he just blasts off into space and then comes back for Endgame. Tony's funeral, Aunt May is there. And then Far From Home, she's just out there, you know, doing public appearances with Spider-Man. Like, we didn't see her freak the fuck out at all. And it's like, why? It felt like it was a build up to nothing. You know what I mean? I don't gotta keep talking about it. You all feel it. It was weird how it just like, she was just okay with it. Like, all right, I guess a lot of that first movie didn't really matter because she's fine with it now. I thought the Peter identity and Mysterio thing was just going to be swept under the rug, especially with, you know, all these rumors coming out, all these exciting rumors, you know, I'll admit, but with every rumor, it's like, okay, there's a lot of stuff that could be happening in this movie. And after Far From Home, I'm like, it would be awesome if the third movie like started off similar to John Wick 3, where he's like running in the city, just trying to get away. And then the whole movie is just like, you know, maybe you got some villains trying to catch him or something, running away from the police. Peter's just like freaking out. He's on the run. You know what I mean? And then like, the title was released, No Way Home. I'm like, holy shit, it might be that type of movie where he's just like, he can't go home because everybody knows he's Spider-Man. He's just got to be on the run the entire movie. And then more rumors, multiverse. And again, it's all exciting, but I'm just like, are they just going to, you know, first 5 minutes just have like Betty Brant on the school news be like, oh, hey, that's crazy. Like how, you know, Peter proved that he wasn't actually Spider-Man or something like that. And then it'd be solved before like the opening credits even started. You know what I mean? Before the Marvel intro even hits. I was afraid that would happen, but it looks like from this trailer, at least we're going to get at least like, you know, like 15, 20 minutes of him having to deal with the consequences of the ending of the last movie, which is very fun. And then we could jump into the multiverse. I'm fine with just like 15 minutes. That's all cool. You know, I just didn't want it to be, you know, oh, hey, here's an off the cuff line about, oh man, that's crazy how, yeah, you know, that scroll came down and helped you out, you know, like pretended to be you so you could prove that you're not Spider-Man. That was crazy, wasn't it? So I'm excited about that. Also, I see this theory, you know, the trailer came out a couple days ago. I've looked at theories. People are thinking that the guy in the interrogation room is Daredevil, who's going to be his lawyer. I do think he's probably in the movie, but I don't think he's in the scene that we saw. Because the guy, even though we didn't see his face, And then I saw people pointing out where it's like, oh man, this guy's got hairy arms, just like, Charlie Cox has hairy arms. It's like, that's all right. It's kind of weird. Like, he's the only guy who could have hairy arms, but all right. But the guy slams down the files very angrily. I don't think, especially if Daredevil is on Peter's side, that he's going to be like, look at these files. Fuck you, Peter. Look at them. I'm going to slam them down on the table in a very angry motion and make you feel afraid. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's him. I think, like, a scene after that when he's like, oh my God, I don't have a lawyer. And then that's when Daredevil walks in. He's like, oh man, here we are. I'm blind as fuck. I'm going to help you out, Peter. I think that might still happen. I don't think he's in the interrogation room right there. It just seems too angry to be him. Then Peter goes. He's like, hey, I got to ask Doctor Strange for help. He goes in the Sanctum Sanctorum. I forget what it's called. Isn't it called the Sanctum Sanctorum? Hold on. Let me look this up. Give me one sec. I could pause the recording and then I'll instantly have the answer, but I think it's more fun if I look it up right here on the air. Sanctum Sanctorum. Yeah, that's what it's called, right? I don't know why when I'm saying it, it sounds weird to me. The Sanctum Sanctorum. Yeah, I guess I was right. Okay. It sounds weird. Okay. So he goes to Sanctum Sanctorum. Doctor Strange, he's floating around. It's all snowy everywhere. People have theories where it's like, ooh, when Hulk busts through the ceiling, that's why snow is all over the place. But it doesn't look like the ceiling still has a hole in it. It's been 5 years. I think it's just some other thing. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he's just on vacation or something. Either way, I don't think it's going to be a big plot point. I think it's just going to be like a joke or something. Like, oh man, it's really cold in here. It's almost Christmas time. You know what I mean, Peter? Maybe that's it. Maybe Doctor Strange just getting in the mood, He's like, hey, it's almost winter. Let's have it snow up in this bitch. That might be it. So, I like how he's just chilling, you know what I mean? Quite literally. He's got the sweater on. He's just vibing. Doctor Strange is a vibe. I think this takes place around like 9-10 months after Endgame. He's like, I just saved the fucking universe. I'm just gonna take a little vacation. Also, I do want to mention, people are saying, oh my God, it's very out of character for Doctor Strange to do the spell. He should know the importance. This dude, it is nothing but in character for this guy to do it. This dude is cocky as fuck. This dude, are we going to just forget that his origin story was that he was an arrogant asshole who was driving somewhere. I think he was going to a party or something. He was driving somewhere and he was talking to somebody on the phone. He was texting and driving. And he's like, oh man, no, that patient isn't worth my time. And he's like, texting while driving, I think gets in a car accident. And that's why, he can't use his hands. And that led to him becoming Doctor Strange. He got into this position by being arrogant as fuck and thinking he could do whatever the fuck he wanted. I don't know why people are going, you wouldn't do that. Oh my God. Yes, he fucking would. Do we not forget the end of Doctor Strange, the movie as well, where he kept rewinding time to defeat Dormammu, even though everybody around him is like, don't fuck with time. It's going to come back to bite you in the ass. And then he still did it. And then Mordo fucking left. And then what did he do in Infinity War? He's like, yo, let me fucking check out all these other possibilities and let's fucking manipulate the timeline so that we win. This dude is nothing. It's like people forgot that Tony Stark and Stephen Strange are so incredibly similar. Like you can't tell me that if somehow Iron Man, got powers similar to Doctor Strange, right? That he wouldn't do the spell for Peter. He absolutely would. So would Strange. That they're so similar. That's why they butted heads in Infinity War. They're very similar. It's nothing but in character for this guy to get told by Wong, don't do the spell. And then he's like, after he leaves, he's like, let's go fucking down in my basement. Let's do that fucking spell real quick. This dude just saved the entire universe. You don't think this guy's be like, oh yeah, I'll have people forget your Spider-Man, whatever. All right, it's a normal Tuesday here on my vacation. It's nothing but in character. This is getting me heated. It's like everybody fucking forgot. This guy's cocky as fuck. All right, this is probably why he's going to have to face Wanda and shit. Wanda's probably going to be like, ooh, I need help or whatever. Doctor Strange is going to be like, you know what? I don't know. He's probably going to get himself into that situation, is what I'm trying to say. His arrogance is going to be his downfall, like it always has been. It's going to be fun, though. It's going to be real fun. So Peter then messes up the spell. He walks in to the spell that Doctor Strange is conjuring and then starts adding to it. Peter, little do people know. All right, let me let you in on this. Peter's a personal friend of mine. He is a very enthusiastic improv guy. He loves improv comedy. He's all about that yes and. Doctor Strange is like, everybody's going to forget about Peter. Peter's like, I'm going to forget about my training real quick. I'm going to say no and. How about my girlfriend still knows? And Doctor Strange is like, no and. Everybody's going to forget. And Peter's like, no and. My best friend also should remember. And Strange is like, no and. Shut the fuck up, please. You're fucking freaking me out. I don't know how to do this very much. I'm doing this on a random Tuesday on my vacation. Just let me fucking do what I'm doing. And then Peter's like, no and. What else did he say? He said something. I don't know. Fucking no and whatever. Right? And then, the spell's messed up. And they go to another universe. All right? They go to a parallel universe, whatever you want to call it. They're entering the multiverse. And this was interesting. Because I always thought, with these rumors and shit, and then Doctor Strange was confirmed. I think he was confirmed before this, right? I think he was one of the only ones, like Dr. Octopus, Doctor Strange, and then Jamie Foxx are confirmed. And then everybody else, I think Alfred Molina, right? He was confirmed too. Everybody else is kind of rumored, right? So I always thought that they would be going into the multiverse intentionally. Spider-Man would come to Doctor Strange and be like, hey, can you help me out? He's like, you know what? All right, let's take a trip to another universe or whatever. Maybe you'll show him oh, hey, this is what would happen if we remove everybody's memory of you being Spider-Man or something like that. Or they go and they just see something else. He wants to show him something. I did not foresee them going to the multiverse by accident. It doesn't look like Strange meant to do that. So they're there by accident. So Strange doesn't, that was not his goal. So he says in the trailer, he's like, we know frighteningly little about the multiverse. So I bet this dude's going to be kind of pissed once they find out they're in a completely different universe. So here's one of my theories. I think Doctor Strange is going to go against Peter at some point in this movie. Whether that be the Doctor Strange that we know, our Doctor Strange, or another Doctor Strange. Because I'll tell you this. All right. So, a little bit later in the trailer, Doctor Strange is like, the problem is you living two different lives. It looks like that's happening before the spell is casted. He's just giving a little monologue. Hey, the scene that we saw where Peter's like, no, and do this. It's probably going to be much longer than what they showed, right? It's not going to be as fast paced. So it's probably going to be a discussion. And that's where Doctor Strange is like, two different lives. That's a problem. And then he comes to the conclusion where he's like, everybody's going to forget, right? So it seems there that Strange is going to be irritated with Peter, right? So that could mean that our Doctor Strange, he's probably not even going to be like a villain, probably just an antagonist that is irritated with Peter. So he's going to go against Peter, right? It's either going to be that, or Doctor Strange is still on Peter's side once they enter the multiverse. But once they go back up the stairs, they figure out, hey, we're in a different universe because the sanctum isn't covered in snow anymore. And then they look over to the side and, holy fuck, there's another Doctor Strange there. Turns out, I don't know why he said turns out. Turns out it's also Doctor Strange. And then when Doctor Strange, our Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man explained what the fuck happened, that other Doctor Strange is like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? You're not supposed to be here. Get the fuck out of here. And then Doctor Strange is like, I don't know how. This was a mistake. We're not supposed to be here. And Doctor Strange is like, what the fuck? And then maybe he starts getting visibly angry. And then our Doctor Strange and Peter are like, let's get the fuck out of here. And then maybe the evil Doctor Strange is like, I got to round up some villains to get rid of these, these multiversal threats that we're dealing with right now. So what if, all right, I'm just saying, what if in this movie, Peter and Doctor Strange are seen as variants? I'm just saying. I'm not saying like the TVA's going to get involved, but just like the concept of like, these guys are not supposed to be here. We need to fucking kill them or like figure out how to get rid of them. And that's why you got Doc Ock, and that's why you got Green Goblin. You got all these people. They're teaming up to get rid of Doctor Strange and Peter Parker. Also, I don't know if... Does Doctor Strange still have the Eye of Agamotto? I'm not sure. I don't remember him having it. I looked in the trailer. He didn't have it when Peter first goes into the Sanctum Sanctorum, but also he could have just put it away while he has his casual clothes on, but also didn't. Thanos destroyed the stones, so there's really no need to have the Eye of Agamotto, right? If he doesn't have the stone. I bring this up because there's one shot in the trailer where Doctor Strange, it could be our Doctor Strange, it could be a different one, whatever. I'm starting to think it's a different one, where he, I think it's called astral projects or whatever, when he pushes Peter's actual body outside of the Spider-Man suit, right? Right there in that shot, Doctor Strange has the Eye of Agamotto. It doesn't look like the time stone's in there, so he could just be wearing it, but I don't know. If he doesn't have the Eye of Agamotto, and this one does, that could be a different Doctor Strange. I'm just saying, all right? I'm just saying. It could be a different one. Also, listen, I brought evidence for this theory, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening. So, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. So, not only that, we got the Eye of Agamotto, but, right before Doc Ock is revealed, cuts to black, and it's like, be careful what you wish for, Parker. Some people are thinking it's Green Goblin. I think it sounds like Doctor Strange. However, he calls him Parker. It doesn't seem, I don't remember in a different movie if he addressed Peter by name, but I do know that earlier in this very trailer, when Peter, first goes to the Santorum, he calls him Peter. So why, at the end of this trailer, Doctor Strange is calling him Parker? Maybe that's a different Doctor Strange. And that one just happens to call him Parker. You know what I mean? And hey, if we're bringing back Green Goblin, who is very, very, very likely to be William Dafoe from the Raimi movies and not the fucking Green Goblin from the Andrew Garfield ones. So if it's that and Doc Ock, remember in those movies, they're coming up with names and they say Doctor Strange, and then J. Jonah Jameson's like, that one's taken. Doctor Strange exists in that universe. We could be dealing with that Doctor Strange in that universe. And it just so happens that he's fucking pissed that this other Doctor Strange and another Peter Parker are now in their universe. I'm just saying, all of this stuff is starting to make sense. Okay, I'm just saying, hey, don't look at me like I'm the villain. All right, it's Doctor Strange who's probably gonna be the villain, but not actual Doctor Strange. But I think that theory is very likely. Very, very likely. At least I believe so. Of course, because it's my theory. Let me know what you think. Go on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. You know what I mean? At Undisputed Stud. Okay? Couldn't get Undisputed Studios, but the next best thing, Undisputed Stud. Go there. Tweet me what you think about that theory. I think it's pretty hot. I haven't seen it anywhere yet. I think it's very likely too. We're dealing with the multiverse. Other than that, great trailer. Got me hyped. Oh my God. The first time I watched it, Me and Lucy watched it at 9 o'clock at night. First time I watched it, I didn't even register the pumpkin bomb, right? I didn't even register that. And then, obviously I freaked out with Doc Ock. And then we watched it again, and then I saw it, and then I freaked out even more. I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking crazy. It was wild. Great trailer. Great trailer. I'm excited for the movie. Only 4 months away. Excited for the movie. I am still of the belief that this movie is going to end and they're still in a different universe. They're going to be stuck somehow, or he's going to be left there, as in Peter's going to be left there. Something's going to happen where he's truly not going to have a way home. And then a couple months later in the Doctor Strange movie, maybe it starts off with Peter being rescued, or like they have to work their way to rescuing him towards the end of the movie after he fights Wanda, whatever's going to happen there. But I don't think we're going to get, we're not going to get everything wrapped up in a bow at the end of this movie. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. That also means that we might even see Toby and Andrew in not just this movie, but also Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Because I do think they're going to appear. I truly believe they have to. Especially since they're bringing back the actual villains of the past Spider-Man movies. You need to bring back the heroes. You can't. These people running at Marvel. These people running Marvel, not running at Marvel. They're smart people. All right. They're not. I don't think they're gonna. That would be such a fucking bummer if they're like, you know what? Yeah, all these villains could come back, but you know what? Yeah, it just so happens that the other Spider-Man are unavailable. Like, okay, you're going to be able to bring back Doc Ock and Green Goblin moments before they were fucking killed in those movies, but you can't bring back Toby and Andrew. They're coming. They're coming for sure. For sure. It's not confirmed, but for sure. Okay, you understand? Even if, this wouldn't be ideal, but even if they're not actually in the movie, you could use some archive footage, whatever you want. You could do that too. Either way, they're going to appear. Again, it's not ideal that they use footage of the past of them. It's not ideal. Okay, I wouldn't necessarily want that. But if they can't get them to come, which I don't know why they couldn't, it's Marvel, just throw some money at them. Well, technically Sony, but also Marvel, right? Just throw some money at them. Be like, yo, do a few scenes, all right? But if they can't do that, they can use some footage. They're going to appear in the movie somehow, some way. It's going to be very exciting. This movie is very unpredictable. It's very, it's got me feeling like Endgame did. It's like, it's big, it's grand. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen, but I know it's going to be great. It's great. It's going to be fun. All right, let's quickly talk about, I don't have too many thoughts about this, but the Eternals trailer. All right, Eternals trailer dropped last week. Didn't make a podcast about it because, first of all, I was over in Las Vegas. Second of all, it's not too big. It was, the biggest thing was Kit Harington, the boy, Jon Snow. In this universe, he knows something. He knows a lot. And he knows to ask the big question, where the fuck have you guys been? We have had endless wars. We've had Loki. We have had Ultron. We have had Thanos twice. Where the fuck have you guys been? And then, of course, the answer is a little bit underwhelming. Where they're like, oh, we can't, interfere unless deviants are involved. Which, theoretically, okay, that's a reasonable explanation. But, looking at it in a meta way outside of the movie, it's kind of, it's kind of flimsy. It's weak. It's not that strong. You understand? It's, I don't know. It's a little underwhelming. Like I said, it's okay. I guess that makes sense, but also it's not that cool. It's kind of lame. Okay, you just like doing the same thing as Captain Marvel. It's like, oh, I've been away doing some stuff with other planets. It's like, I mean, that does make sense, but also it kind of fucking sucks a little bit. It's like, you would expect there's like a huge fucking reason. It's like, oh, you know what? I was stopping like this other Tony Stark from a different universe. He's fucking even more evil. He actually teamed up with Ultron. They're fucking coming, but I had to fucking stop him myself. And then you're like, holy shit, that is, reasonable excuse as to why he did not help. But it got me thinking, which people have been talking about for a while, but especially after this trailer, I'm like, this is becoming a real thing. Origin stories in these movies are going to become even more difficult to do. Because it's going to be like, where the fuck were you? It's like the X-Men, when they finally come over, it's like, where the fuck have you guys been? Where? Like, and you can't just do the same thing where it's like, oh, we couldn't interfere until now. It's gonna become like a very bullshit excuse. Again, it's a pretty reasonable thing to say. It's like, oh, I couldn't until now, and then the excuse is like, it's reasonable, but also it's kind of bullshit when you look at it. It's like, I don't know. The Fantastic Four, that's easier to do, because it's not like tied down to a lot of stuff. Like you could send them to space at some point, and then they get their powers, they come back, they're like, okay, we're here. That's not so difficult. But the X-Men and stuff, like you have like the Holocaust, you have a bunch of stuff that's like tied to the X-Men, and it's like, I don't know, it's gonna be weird. That's why I kind of like the idea. Some people don't like it. They just want the X-Men to be rebooted and just start from right now. But I like the idea of just doing the multiverse and bringing them in from there. I think I talked about this on the podcast before. I think the multiverse, even though it's a crazy good idea and stuff, that's like probably the primary reasoning why they're doing this right now. But also, like, an unforeseen but like very beneficial circumstance of doing the multiverse is that they could, when they're wrapping up the multiverse, because I don't think it's going to be open forever. They got to close this loop. They got to close this Pandora's box eventually. When they finally do it, I think that's where they're going to be able to pick and choose what they want to keep. It's like, okay, the original X-Men, we're probably going to say, that existed, but that doesn't matter in the main timeline. And then you could be like, oh yeah, we're going to bring in the young X-Men, but also because it's a different universe now, you're going into the main timeline. That's where you could bring in different actors and say, oh, they look different, or whatever you want to do with them. And that's how you could be like, oh yeah, J. Jonah Jameson, he exists both in the old Spider-Man movies that we just made canon because it's a Spider-Man movie, and he also exists here. They're two different people, but they just happen to look the same, just like, we had two different Lokis that looked exactly the same, but we also had many other Lokis that looked different than him. I think that's how they're going to do it. The multiverse is going to be able to close it up, push aside what they don't want, and keep what they do want from other movies. So, like I was saying before I went on that tangent there, the origin stories are going to be a little bit more difficult to do. Unless it's like, like Shang-Chi, sorry, that's how you pronounce it. He doesn't really have powers, so... And I think that movie is going to take place like in present MCU time, which is like after Endgame and stuff. So it's like if he becomes a hero after Endgame, then, he doesn't have to have that problem where it's like, why didn't you help? He's like, well, I was just a fucking dude living his life during that time. Sorry. Like, I was scared just like everybody else. It was crazy. I was watching Thanos on TV. I saw when Spider-Man and Tony Stark just went up into space. That was crazy. That was wild. I was like, damn, that's crazy. He could just say that. But like, people who have been around for a while, it's going to be weird. It's going to be weird to be like, I was just chilling or doing something else until, I came here. Oh, what's that? Half of the universe just fucking dead? Yeah, I didn't think that was big enough to like come over and help at all. But now, now is the time is big enough. But yeah, the rest of the trailer was pretty cool. They got the Deviants, they got the Celestials. It's going to be a fun movie. Kind of wish this trailer was the first trailer, because this trailer was vague as well. It didn't give us a lot, but it was like more exciting. It showed us a little bit more. It didn't show us a lot. The first trailer was kind of like, it was all right, but it was mainly just, we're Eternals and we exist. All right, cool. That's the trailer. Come watch the movie in November. It's like, all right, that's cool, but like, I don't really know anything besides you exist. This one was better. This one was cool. That's coming out in a couple months. Shang-Chi is next week. Oh my goodness. I'm excited. Apparently this movie is very fucking good. I'm seeing people say, oh, this is one of Marvel's best solo movies. I'm like, yo, all right. You know, you got Wong in there. You got Abomination. Abomination's coming back. Holy shit. I like The Incredible Hulk. It's not bad. People were like, I saw on Twitter last night, they're like, ooh, it was a thing where it's, what's the worst MCU movie? And people are saying Hulk. It is not the worst. All right. There's only one correct answer. And that is Thor: The Dark World. That's it. That's the only thing that is close to a bad movie. That movie. Okay. People were also saying Iron Man 3. Fuck off. That movie is great. Okay. But yeah, Eternals trailer was good. Spider-Man trailer was fucking phenomenal. And this is just a teaser. I don't even think they touched the second half of the movie. I think it's really just like the first act where things are getting set up. The other trailer that's going to come out probably in like, I don't know, like last week of December. Because I think, yeah, Eternals is like very early November. So that's probably going to come out like a week before that. That one's probably going to fucking blow our minds. We're probably going to be like, yo, here's a shot of Green Goblin. Yo, here's Toby and Andrew. Hell yeah, you were right. They're going to appear in the movie. So you better come buy a ticket and watch this fucking movie. Because it's about to be insane. But yeah, very two fun trailers. Very excited. Very, very excited. And we'll be back either late tonight or tomorrow with thoughts on episode 2 and 3. Haven't watched episode 3 yet. We're going to watch it later today of What If. And I'll just give you a little teaser of what we thought of episode 2. We liked it. And also, if you watched our episode 1 review, we liked that as well. We like episode 2 even more. So, hopefully episode 3 is a lot better than both of them. Because that would be crazy cool if it is. All right. Thank you for listening. Again, follow me on Twitter at Undisputed Stud. If you want support on Patreon, throw me a couple bucks. Patreon.com/undisputed. Let me know what you think of these trailers. Let me know, most importantly, go on Twitter. Let me know what you think of that Spider-Man theory. I think that's pretty hot. I think that's a good theory. I cooked that up myself. I cooked it. I went in my basement. I'm like, yo, let me put this theory together. And then Peter, again, just fucking barges in. He's like, no, and it's like, you fucking suck. Are you ever going to graduate high school, Peter Parker? You can't even do improv correctly. You keep saying no. It's yes, and. And Peter's like, oh my God, but why are you yelling at me? I'm just a kid. What about Mr. Stark? It's like, shut the fuck up. I'm sorry, Peter. I'm sorry, you're in the multiverse. You're dealing with a lot of shit right now. Okay, I'm going on way too long. I'm doing improv of my own and it's not very good. All right, so that is the time for me to go. Thank you for listening. I'll see you either later tonight or tomorrow. This has been the Undisputed Studios podcast. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.